Hey guys, it's Mrs. Ham. This is my first video ever. So, how exciting. All right, so in on day one, we have a warm-up, and it's to simplify the following, and this is actually something that we are going to be doing in our notes today. So if you don't know how to do it, you will learn. But a little recap from algebra is that when you did these back in algebra, your algebra teacher probably went ahead and set up this nice little box that looks something like this and put the first binomial up at the top and the second binomial down here across the side, and then filled in the box. 4x times x is 4x squared. And that's something you have to remember, guys. There is technically an exponent of 1 here and an exponent of 1 here. And when you multiply, you add the exponents. And so that's where that comes from. Okay? And then it doesn't matter which box you do next. 4x times negative 2 is negative 8x. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. And then these right here are like terms. And so we could go ahead and rewrite and say that when these two binomials are multiplied together, you get 4x squared. 9x added to a negative 8x is a positive x. And then that's our minus 18. And that would be the polynomial we get from multiplying those two binomials together. Okay, another way that you might see it, and you might like this better because you don't have to set up the box, I call this double distribution. Okay, this x is going to get distributed to the 4x, and x times 4x is 4x squared, the same thing we got in the little box. Okay. And then we can take the x and multiply it by the 9, and that's how we get that 9x. Now that the x has been distributed, we take the negative 2 and multiply by the 4x and get negative 8x. Same thing we got in the box. And negative 2 times 9 is a negative 18. And same thing, guys, your two middle terms are like, and they would combine, and they end up giving you the same exact thing as we got from the box. So either method, you have to pick and you have to decide, and that's what we're going to do today. So whichever one you like, this one keeps you a little bit more neater and organized, but some people don't enjoy setting up the box. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move to our notes on day one, which is called multiplying polynomials. And I'm not going to do every example with you, but I am going to do a couple, and I'm going to ask you to do a few on your own, just to make sure that you are okay with doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and skip number 1 and skip number 2, and I'm going to head right here to number 3. And this is just single distribution. You could set up a box, but a lot of people don't. Like we did in the warm-up, we're just going to go ahead and distribute. That's called a monomial times a binomial, and we end up with 14. And that x actually has an exponent of 1 on it. And remember, when you multiply, you add the exponents. Exponents are like little rebels. They don't ever follow the operation they're supposed to. The operation is multiply, but they're following the operation of add. And they're like little rebels. They like to rebel. And so this is going to actually give you x cubed. And then there are no y's here, so that just stays y squared. Okay. When we distribute again, that's going to end up with a negative 8. That x, there's no x there, so he just stays an x. Well, y squared and y squared, remember, guys, when you're multiplying by doing this distribution, okay, you add the exponents, and so that's going to give you y to the 4th. And that's it. Okay. We're also going to do number 4, just a real quick check because it's got a few more variables in there. We want to make sure you're okay. And so when we distribute, we end up with a negative 6. X squared and x squared, remember, add your exponents, so that's going to give you x to the 4th. And there's no y, so we just say y to the 5th. Okay. Then we distribute again, and we end up with a negative 3. X squared times x. Remember, there's tiny exponent of 1 there, so add the exponents. You got x to the 3rd. And y to the 5th times y. Remember the little exponent of 1, so 5 and 1, so that'd be me. Y to the 6th. Okay. Distribute one more time because there's another term in there. Keep in mind, guys, a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 4 is 12. X squared, so there's no x's here. Y to the 5th and y squared, remember, add your exponents, so 5, 6, 7. And we're finished. All right, I want you guys now to try number 2 on your own, okay? So you can come back up here and you're gonna put your answer in your Google form. There'll be a multiple choice question asking you what you think the answer is, okay? All right, see you in the next video.